He is alumni of LE College Morbi, batch of 1992. After his completion of BE, he has served various industries like Petrophils Cooperative, Gujarat State Fertilizer Company Limited, Nylon Unit Kosamba, and then after since 1996, since almost last 25 years, he is serving Gujarat Industries Power Company Limited, Baroda. He is serving as Chief Manager Mechanical, and he is looking after all operation and maintenance activities of combined gas turbine based combined cycle power plant. He is also involved in installation and commissioning of solar based power plant and wind based power plant, because GIPCL company is also establishing solar based power plant as well as wind based power plant. So sir is having very vast experience in the field of utilities as well as power production. I welcome you, sir. As and when required, sir is at plant. So as and when required to attend any problem, he may take break for few minutes and will get connected as and when possible. So kindly bear with us, because he is very busy person. He is having full responsibility of power plant, and as you know, at plant certain problems are coming, and at a time we have to resolve the issues. Welcome, sir.
Dr. D.R. Shah, can you see my screen here?
No, sir. Right now, screen is not being shared. સાહેબ ને પ્રેઝન્ટર માં કન્વર્ટ કરી દીધું છે જાની સાહેબ?
Yes, sir. Sir is now a presenter.
Okay.
Aghela sir requested to put one up arrow on the top right corner, share content, so that your screen be later on sharing to us, sir. Okay, sir. Now your PPT is available on our screen, sir.
हाँ सर।
Participants requested to stay in the meeting, expert having some work in the plant. So that's why we have to wait for 5-10 minutes.
Later, but job.
Vaghela sir, your voice is
Please, 5 minutes. Just I'm connecting myself.
okay. Okay, sir, no problem.
I want to share my screen, but I'm not able to share my screen. Please do it, enable it, please.
Just a minute, sir. From our side, we have made you, sir, presenter. Last time, whenever you do, your screen will be available, sir. PPT will be available. But again, you have to press the upside arrow on the rightmost corner.
Yeah, but it is showing that only meeting organizer and presenters can share. So it is not allowing us to share our screen.
Okay, just a minute. Nilesh said, sir, if you are presented in meeting, please upgrade the Vaghela, sir, as a presenter.
Yes, sir. I have done it. I have made
Okay,
the
okay.
Vaghela, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I think now the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir, visible. Now make it a full screen.
Yeah.
So that, yes, okay. Now it is
Yeah.
full screen mode available. Your voice is available in very good quality, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, all the participants. And sorry for some delay. Today I'm Anirudh Singh Waghela. I am working with Gujarat Industries.
Sir, during this,
Hello?
there is a 1 minute. I will have to provide your introduction, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Please welcome participant for our today's session. Our today's presenter is Mr. Anirudh C. A. Waghela, sir. His qualification is undergraduate B Mechanical from Government Engineering College, Morbi, and he associated with the Saurashtra University. He is the batchmate of 1992. His experience involves Petrophils Cooperative Limited for initially for the 4 years, GSFC Fiber Unit Kosamba, GIPCL Vadodara since 1996, 25 years. His position at current is the Chief Manager Mechanical and Department Mechanical Maintenance. He is looking after maintenance of gas-based combined cycle power plant and also associated with erection and commissioning of wind turbine and solar power plant. So today we are very lucky that such experienced person is with us to share his valuable knowledge with regarding to the practical aspects of energy conservation effort in the industry. So I welcome you, sir, from Government Engineering College.
Thank you very much. I'm just starting my presentation. Before starting my presentation, I will just know that my subject is energy conservation efforts by Gujarat Industries Power Company Limited. I will give the brief introduction about my company, that is Gujarat Industries Power Company Limited. It was incorporated in 1985 as a public sector limited company under the auspices of Government of Gujarat. The company has been promoted by the leading Gujarat PSUs, that is GSFC, GACL and GUVNL. Basically, it was started looking to the requirement of GSFC, GACL and GUVNL power requirement. Then they came at the common platform and they started one company to cater their power requirement, and hence the GIPCL was born. And now the company is engaged in the business of electric power generation, and today it is having a total installed capacity of 1184 megawatt. The company has a diversified portfolio of thermal, that is gas and lignite based power plant. Wind and solar power plant assets are also in the states of Gujarat. We have wind turbines in different parts of Gujarat, that is the Saurashtra, Kutch, that is near Porbandar, Rajkot, Nakhatrana, that is as per the availability and of the wind. Solar power plant we are having at Banaskantha, and that is another the solar project, mega solar project, the solar park, that is at Charanka. There we are having 150 megawatt, and in Banaskantha at Rathanesra, that is 100 megawatt, and we are developing one solar park in Kutch, that is around 2,500 megawatt. That is a mega project, but it is at the very initial stage. The company's operating projects at present, that is 310 megawatt gas-based combined cycle power plant at Vadodara. That another is 500 megawatt lignite-based power plant. There we are having our own captive mines. It is at Nani Naroli at Taluka Mangrol near Surat, and another 374 megawatt, that is renewable energy, that comprises of wind and solar projects. So this is the total background of our company, that is Gujarat Industries Power Company Limited. Now GIPCL at Vadodara, because I am here in Vadodara plant, it is a gas-based combined cycle power plant, and the total installed capacity of 310 megawatt. Now our Baroda plant is having two stations. It is divided into station 2, because in my presentation I will come across the words like station 1 and station 2. So you will not be confused. So station 1, it is having a 145 megawatt, and it consists of 3 numbers of gas turbine, that is 32 megawatt each. That is a BHL GMAT gas turbine frame 6 machine. And all the 3 gas turbines are having individual HRSG, that is heat recovery, and the common steam is going to the steam turbine, and it is having one steam turbine, that is a 49 megawatt capacity. So this is the configuration of station 1. Now it is the station 2. It was commissioning after 10 years, and that is in 1997. The total capacity of station 2 is 165 megawatt. That comprises of one number of gas turbine. It is having a capacity of 110 megawatt, and one steam turbine. It is having a capacity of 55 megawatt. So this is the background of our Baroda plant, that is comprises of station 1 and station 2. This is the layout. Okay. Any gas turbine or steam turbine, they are coming with the basic design. So we cannot change the basic design. So the performance of power plant is optimum at full load operation, as all the system, equipment and auxiliaries are designed and optimized for full load operation. Okay, but now looking to the price of the gas and present scenario, the plant is not operating at full load. Hence, in present scenario, many times power plant need to be operated at part load, because there is a excess power in the plant, and basically Gujarat is a surplus power. So there are so many times there is, as per the grid requirement, we have to operate our plant at part load. So auxiliary consumption at part load operation does not reduce in proportion to the loading. Has lead to the increase in the auxiliary consumption. So the auxiliary percentage of auxiliary consumption increases, because so many auxiliaries are there that we cannot run that auxiliary in the part load. They are have to be run in the full load condition, whereas our main machine is running at the part load operation. So there will be a percentage increase in the auxiliary consumption related to generation. So in order to improve part load efficiency, optimization of auxiliary consumption is very necessary. Okay. Now, in this present case study, optimization of auxiliary power through various innovative ideas is discussed. Because my subject is energy conservation in power plant. We cannot conserve energy in main plant because it is designed for it. So what can we do is we can reduce the auxiliary power consumption. We can operate the auxiliaries at the optimum load. That is only, and various innovative ideas we have implemented in our plant, and we have tried to bring the auxiliary power consumption down and optimize the power consumption. So these are the main energy conservation projects that we have carried out at Vadodara unit. Number 1 is optimization of power, auxiliary power at part load operation of station 1 by installation of smaller capacity cooling water pump. Now, in this steam turbine, the major energy consumption or major power water consumption is in condenser. So when the machine is running at the part load, the actually water requirement is very less, but the pump that is installed for that, they are running at the full load. So in that case, we can optimize the power consumption. I will show you the detail how we have done that in a coming slide. Okay, and another project was the installation of VFD, that is variable frequency drive in oil mist eliminator of GT frame 6 machine. Number 3, the replacement of electrical operated ventilator fan by natural wind operated turbo ventilator fan in GT and STG building. This is the energy saving in year. The annual energy saving, that is 3,68,928 kilowatt. These are all the figures that we can convert it into rupees also. This is a saving that we have achieved by energy conservation. Another project is stage reduction in 4 numbers of 6.6 kV to 90 kilowatt high pressure boiler feed pumps, and stage reduction in 3 numbers of 6.6 kV 650 kilowatt high pressure boiler feed pumps in station 2. This is in station 1. Now stage reduction of 415 watt 135 kilowatt vertical mounted multi-stage condenser extraction pump of STG station 2, and stage reduction in 4 numbers of vertical turbine type raw water pumps. No. Now increasing the heating surface of HP economizer of HRG 4 station 2 by installing additional module in HP economizer section. That also I will explain you in the detail. Now the replacement of FRP blades with hollow lightweight aerodynamic FRP blades in cooling tower. Now another is attending air leakage of compressed air leakages in instrument air network in Vadodara station plant area. And then replacement of high energy drain valves of steam turbine of 165 megawatt station 2. Wait.
Yes, sir. कौन है आपको?
Please excuse me, I have some work. Please, for 5 minutes, I will come back. Sorry for the interruption. Now, number 1, that is optimization of auxiliary consumption for part load operation through small capacity of cooling water pump. This is the case I will explain you in the detail. We'll discuss it.
Sir, please unmute your mic, sir.
Sorry, very much. I'm very much sorry. Can I repeat that whole slide again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it is okay? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
45
Clearly.
megawatt station 1 is having 49 megawatt steam turbine with surface condenser. Cooling water pumps are provided for circulating cooling water in condenser. 3 cooling water pumps of 50% capacity each are provided with 2 pumps running and 1 pump standby. Due to grid requirement or fuel constraint, our plant is operating between 65 megawatt to 85 megawatt for 245 days in a year. At part load operation, heat load on condenser is reduced and hence cooling water requirement is less. Hence, cooling water flow can be reduced to optimize the power consumption of cooling water pump. You can understand it because the plant is running at the part load, but the cooling water requirement is also low at that point. But the pump is of the full capacity. We have to run that pump at the full capacity. So there is a higher consumption of power. So to optimize that requirement, what we can do is we can reduce the flow of cooling water. Now this is the system. This is the cooling tower. This is the steam condenser. This is a CW header. This is ACW. That's the ACW, that is auxiliary cooling water. That goes to the different auxiliaries like boiler, feed pump and such thing. And this is the cooling water header. There are 3 type pumps: CWA, CWB and CWC. These all the pump go to the common header and that goes to the condenser. And from condenser outlet, that water is going to the cooling tower. And from 4 bay, this is the circuit. Okay. Now this is the cooling water pump. This is the vertical turbine mixed flow type pump. It is having capacity of 6,700 meter cube per hour. And head is 13.5 meter. Speed is 740 RPM, that is a low RPM. And its bowel efficiency is 86.64%. And motor is a 355 kilowatt and 6.6 kV motor. Now we have carried out one study. An exercise was conducted to estimate flow requirement at part load operation. So we have to, first of all, we have to estimate the flow requirement at the part load. How much flow we can divert to the condenser to cater that requirement. The flow of cooling water reduced by closing discharge valve. The summary is as follows. Now you can see from this slide. This is the parameter. This is at the full load, and this is at the reduced flow. Now, per se, the STG load is 30.1 megawatt. When we reduce the flow, the STG load remains the same. That is, generation remains the same. But the flow of cooling water pump A was 5,800 meter cube. Now it has come to 4,000 meter cube. At the reduced flow, the generation is same. That is, it is the excess flow of cooling water is going to the condenser. Now CW pump B that was running at 6000 meter cube, it comes to 6600 because by reducing this flow has increased. Now total cooling water flow is 11,800 and this is 10,600. Cooling water header, earlier it was 1.3 kg, now it is 1.1 kg. Condenser vacuum also remains the same. There is no effect on the condenser vacuum. Now hot well temperature also remains same. Cooling water inlet temperature remains same. Outlet temperature remains same. And number of CT fans, earlier it was 3, now it has become 4. Now these are the observations. Flow of cooling water pump A reduced to 4000 meter cube per hour by closing the valve. Now total cooling water flow reduced from 11,800 meter cube per hour to 10,600 meter cube per hour without affecting condenser vacuum or hot well temperature. That is reduction of 1,200 meter cube per hour. That means 1,200 meter cube per hour was the excess flow that was going to the condenser. So that we can reduce that much flow without affecting the generation. By reducing that much flow, we will be able to reduce the energy. Now, due to reduction in flow, system resistance reduces and corresponding header pressure came down to 1.1 kg from 1.3 kg. It's okay. Operating point of cooling water pump B, which was running with full discharge, shifted slightly towards right up head HQ curve and PQ curve. I will show that curves also. That is reduced pressure and higher flow. Now higher flow of CW pump B head reduced, but there was very light change in power consumption as per inherent characteristics of that pump. This is the characteristic of that pump. You can see at the head of 13.6 meter and the flow was 6,600 meter cube per hour. And this is the head 15.6 meter, flow was 6,000 meter cube per hour. Now this, in the same condition, this power consumption was 296 kilowatt. And at this level, the power consumption is 292 kilowatt. Okay, so this is the power consumption remains the almost same. But that is the reduction in the flow. Okay. Now for reducing cooling water flow, following options were considered. And option 1 is installation of VFD for cooling water pump. But the installation of, another option was the installation of new 4,000 meter cube per hour capacity pump set of matching characteristics with existing pump. Instead of 6,000 meter cube per hour pump, we can install 4,000 meter cube per hour capacity pump. That is 2,000 meter cube per hour capacity, less capacity pump we can install, and then hence we can reduce the power consumption. Option 1 was not cost effective as it involves VFD for HT motors, and VFD for HT motors they are very costly. So option 2 was selected. Now due to space constraint in cooling water pump house, it was not possible to install new pump because there are only 3 pumps and we cannot install another pump of low capacity. Hence both of the above options were not found workable. It was required to explore some new idea to implement this project. Since no space was available for installation of new pump, it was decided to explore possibility of retrofitting of new bowl assembly with existing column pipe. So the existing column pipe, the motor and everything will remain same, but the pump will be new. The pump will be of low capacity. So it was decided to develop new bowl assembly with lower flow and matching the characteristic of existing pumps. So we have total 3 numbers of cooling water pumps, out of which only 1 pump was considered for retrofitting. Another 2 pumps we will having of the same capacity, and 1 pump we will reduce up fit of the reduced flow. Now for full load operation, 2 existing pumps are sufficient. to cater the requirement. That is 11,800 meter cube. For part load, one existing pump along with new pump can cater the requirement of 10,600 meter cube. Hence, total operating flexibility ensured full part load operation. Now, in-house engineering of new bowl assembly was carried out in consultation with OEM. The OEM was Jyoti make pumps. So we have consulted the engineer of Jyoti, and as per requirement of flow, suitable size of pump, we have selected the existing water pump as to be match flow characteristics and to ensure trouble-free parallel operation. New taper column pipe, and we have taken from the Jyoti, that is the OEM. I will show you the figure of that also. Original, this was the pump, existing pump assembly, and now it is a pump with modified bowl assembly, lower capacity pump. This is that we have reduced the size of the pump. This is the pump is also of lower capacity, and we have kept this another from this joint, that is the curve, that is motor, and all the system will be remain same. Only this bowl assembly will be changed. This is the existing bowl assembly, and this is the new bowl assembly. This is new bowl assembly of lower capacity. It has having a dimension wise also it is a small, and the capacity wise also it is a small. Now you can see the after fitting. This is the existing column, and from this existing column, instead of the high flow pump, we have fitted a new pump, and it is having low capacity, and this is the taper column, and this is the pump of low capacity. Parallel to this pump, you can see it is a pump of original pump having high capacity. Now, these are the results which were achieved by the plant part load. After fitting this pump, we have taken the trial, and the STG load that remains 30.3 megawatt. After retrofitting with the same load, vacuum was same. Total cooling water flow, it was 11,800. Now it has reduced to 10,600. Total power consumption, that was 635 kilowatt. Now it has reduced to 535 kilowatt. That is 100 kilowatt is a net saving. Total CW cooling tower fan power consumption has increased slightly, but the total power, that was 748, including the power consumption of cooling tower fan. Now it is a net saving of 63 kilowatt. Okay. Now considering the plant is running for 244 days and auxiliary power consumption is 60 kilowatt, that is a total saving of 3,68,928 kilowatt hours. That is this much units. And because we are the power generating, so the unit cost is very low from for our end. We consider as a 5 rupees per kilowatt hour. The annual saving was 18.44 lakhs. And the cost of retrofitting was 18 lakhs. The payback period is around 1 year. Only within 1 year, all the cost of the retrofitting was free, and then after it was a net saving. It is a thumb rule that for carrying out any energy conservation activity, if the payback period is more than 2 years, it is giving a very less priority. Any project, when we calculate the payback period analysis, and if the payback period is less than 1 year or 2 years, we have to definitely go for that project. Okay. So this was the one case. Now these are the unique advantages of that project. No additional space was required because we have fitted the pump at the same position. Only bowl assembly was produced. Utilize of existing column pipe, pump base and motor, and thereby saving of huge cost. Because all the pumps and column pipes and motor, everything we have used the same. And full operational flexibility because we have retrofitted only one pump. Another 2 pumps are also already having a higher capacity. So when the plant is running at the full load capacity, we can operate that full load pump also. And when the plant is operating at the part load, we can use it this retrofitted pump. So we can easily switch over between part load and base load operation. Okay, this is the reversibility. In future, if the plant required to operate continuously on the full load, then original bowl assembly can be easily assembled within just 3 days without any plant outage. Now, if the scenario changes and the plant is to be operated at the full load, so easily we can remove that new bowl assembly and replace that old bowl assembly, and you can use the original pump. Now, besides another innovative idea for energy conservation, that installation of VFD, that is variable frequency drive, in oil mist eliminator of GT frame 6. Oil mist eliminator is for sucking, means that is a vacuum type, and that oil fumes that are generated in the machine are eliminated with just suck this eliminator. I will show you the figure also, and by that the fumes of the oil is maintained. Now we have OEM has installed in all GT frame 6 to maintain vacuum in lube oil tank and to cover oil mist from oil vapor. It is originally designed for base load operation. When the filter is new and during part load operation and vacuum is higher than desired vacuum, earlier vacuum is adjusted by providing atmosphere air to bowl bypass, which result in loss of power. So we have carried out some experiments and case studies. Then we have installed a VFD fan in all frame 6 gas turbine, and this results in a saving of power. You can see that this is the oil mist eliminator. This is the sucking vapor from the gas turbine. This is the whole system. This is the pump. This is a vacuum pump that is operating for creating vacuum in the system. And this is the filter. It will suck all the fumes from this tank, and the remaining oil will go back to the tank, and fumes will go out. So it was already designed for base load operation, and then we have considered that as per the part load operation, we have fitted a VFD. Now this motor is running at the different RPM, and that is a huge saving in a power consumption. Another project was there was on a gas turbine building and steam turbine building, there was electrical operated exhaust fans traditionally, and it was consuming very high power. We have installed this renewable energy operated turbo ventilator fan. You all might have seen this is installed in so many industries. It is operated by natural air, so there is no power consumption. And by studying various industries and surrounding condition, we have installed this type of fan in all the buildings, that is in our gas turbine and steam turbine building. Total 21 numbers of 0.75 kilowatt electrical fans in GT hall is replaced with 30 numbers of turbo ventilator fan, that has resulted in saving of 9.75 kilowatt. You will consider that it is a very small saving, but when it is running 24 hours for all the year, that the saving is very, when considered in terms of money, it is very huge saving. And 10 numbers of 1.1 kilowatt electrical operated fan in STG hall, we have replaced it 8 numbers of turbo ventilator fan, resulting in saving of 8.8 kilowatt. Now the another project was cooling tower fan blade replacement. Now we got that cooling tower with our is a induced draft cooling tower fan, and for that creating a draft, there is a huge capacity of fans installed in the cooling tower. So this type of fans are also consuming very high power. So there was one innovative project that FRP blades of cooling tower fan that we have replaced with modular aerodynamic shape FRP blade. The party has claimed that is a 20% reduction in power consumption. Earlier it was a 36 kilowatt pump. Now it is 29 kilowatt. That is 7 kilowatt per fan. That is in station. If you consider in terms of rupees, that is saving in station 1 for 7 kilowatt fan plus it is a 6 numbers of fan. It is running 24 hours. Considering it at a 365 days and 0.85% utilization, this much is the unit that we have saved. Considering 4 rupees per unit, the 14 lakhs 50,000 rupees per year is the saving from the cooling tower fan. Now the same is with station 2. There are also 7 kilowatt per fan. There are 6 numbers of fan. They are running 24 hours into 365 days. Because the plant is running very less, we consider only 15% consumption. Then also 55,188 units. And we consider into the rupees, that comes to 2,21,000 rupees per year. That is total saving is 18 lakhs 50,000 and our total investment was 35 lakhs. The payback period is only 2 years. This is the picture of cooling tower fan blades. Before the replacement, this type of fan was there. This is the FRP blade, it's simple, original. And now we have replaced it with this is the aerodynamic shape cooling tower fan. And this is the modified design. By fitting this type of fan, each fan is having a 7 kilowatt power saving. Okay. Now, can we take the break for 5 minutes, please? Hello, everyone?
Yes, sir. No problem, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, just for 5 minutes. Okay, just for 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Sir, you can start, sir.
Can I
Yes.
start it again?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
Now, one another project, that is stage reduction of HPBAP. HPBAP, that is high pressure boiler feed pump. As you all know that boiler feed pump, it is for feeding the boiler water into the boiler, and it is consuming very high energy. So when it is running at the part load operation, the requirement of water is very low, and so we have carried out one study, and as a part of energy conservation program, stage reduction in all the BSP pump station was planned. Originally it is a 9-stage pump, then we have carried out the study, and ultimately we have decided that we can reduce one number of stage. So I will give you all the detail of that. It's very interesting. So after stage reduction, revised operating parameters shall be as under. So originally, HPBAP, the existing pump was of 10 stage. We have reduced one stage, and now it is a pump of 9-stage pump. Maximum discharge pressure was 92.5 kg. Now it is reduced to 83.25 kg. Now the HRSG was registered for maximum operating pressure, that was for 75 kg. Then we have approached to the IBR authority, and that we have revised our maximum operating pressure, and now the revised operating pressure was 66 kg. Now it is as per IBR, you have to attend every year at the annual inspection, we have to provide the HRSG for hydro test. The hydro test is carried out as 1.25 kg of maximum design pressure. So hydro test existing, it was to be carried out at 93.75 of 75 kg into 1.25 kg, it comes to 93.75. Now we have revised it to 66 kg. Now we have to give the hydro pressure at 82.5 kg, because our now pump will, after revision, after the stage reduction, my pump will be having a maximum discharge pressure of 83.25 kg only. So I cannot give this much higher pressure. So we have revised this pressure, and now I have to give the hydro test as 82.5 kg pressure only. Power at pump at full load, it was 290 kilowatt, and now it will be 261 kilowatt. It was recommended to revise maximum operating pressure of HRSG at 8860 at 66 kg, and accordingly all the safety valve setting will also revised, because earlier it was for higher pressure, and now it is only for 82.5 kg, and we cannot go beyond 66 kg. So we have revised the safety valve setting. Earlier it was 69.3. Now we have revised it into 62 kg. Accordingly, HP, superheater, drum, all the safety valve from existing 75 to 65, 77 to 67. Now this is the saving. At part load at 105 megawatt, 26 into 3, that is 26 kilowatt per pump. The 3 pumps are running, so 78 kilowatt is the saving. 78 kilowatt into 24 hours into 365 days, considering 0.65% utilization, then also 4,44,000 units is the saving. And we consider in the terms of money, it comes to 17,76,528 rupees per year. Now, the same type of exercise was carried out in station 2. Earlier I have said that what is the station 1 and station 2. Station 1 is a 145 megawatt and station 2 is 165 megawatt. So definitely in station 2, the pumps are also of higher capacity. So as a part of energy conservation and our experience of station 1, stage reduction in all PBFPs of station 2 was also planned. After after stage reduction, revised operating parameters are as under. Now HPBFP stage is existing, it was 11 stage. After revision, it is of 10 stage. FPB maximum discharge pressure was 124.2 kg. After revision, it is 113.7 kg. Registered maximum operating pressure was 96.5 kg. After revision, it is of 84 kg. Hydro test earlier we were giving at 96.5 into 1.25, that is 121 kg. After revision, we have to provide give the hydro test 105 kg. And the pump power per pump at full load was 637.5 kg. Now it is reduced to 588 kg. Kilowatt, sorry, 637.5 kilowatt to 588 kilowatt per pump. Similarly, from station 1, you have to revise the maximum operating pressure of HRSG. It was now after revision, it was 84 kg. So hydro test was to be carried out at 105 kg, and safety valve settings were also to be revised. These are the settings of safety valve. This is HP safety valve, HP superheater safety valve. Existing was 87 kg and revised is 76 kg. HP drum left hand side 96.5, it is revised to 80 kg. HP drum right hand side the 99.3, it is revised to 83 kg. Hello, at a part load of 105 megawatt, one HPBFP in line with LP extraction open. These are all technical terms, that is LP extraction and full load. I think who are familiar with the power plant, they can only understand. Otherwise, it is very difficult. And if I will try to explain all these things, it will take so much whole day. Then also I will not be able to explain you. The saving was 496 kilowatt. 496 into 24 hours is 365 days. Considering 4 rupees per unit, the saving was 26 lakhs rupees per year. And at full load at 165 megawatt, the saving was 22 lakhs 46,000 rupees per year. Any participant, do you want any question? Hello? Dr. D.R. Shah? Any question from any participant?
Participants, if you have any question, you can raise your query. No, sir, you can proceed right now. No any query there is right now.
Okay. So this is the last case study at increasing heating surface area of HRSG. You can see this is the picture of HRSG. HRSG, that is heat recovery steam generator. This is the photo of our, this is the HRSG. Here is the gas turbine. At the outlet of the gas turbine, this is the bypass stack. You can see my cursor, everybody. And this is the HRSG. This is the inlet of HRSG. Flue gas will enter in this section. Here comes the superheater and evaporator. This is the economizer section. This is the LP evaporator section. This is LP economizer section. This is CPS section, and the final is the stack outlet. Okay, then we have studied all the parameters of HRSG, and we have come to the conclusion that by increasing the heating surface area of the HRSG, we can increase the load of steam turbine and reduce the stack temperature. I will show you the parameters of our boiler. So, this was the design parameters versus this is the actual HRSG parameter. You can see that GT exhaust temperature, it was the HRSG was designed with 100% naphtha. At the plant, the time when the plant was commissioned, the naphtha was available as a fuel. With passage of time, the naphtha was totally obsoleted. There it was not economical viable. So we have taken machine at 100% gas. Now it is operating at 100% gas. So at base load, the GT exhaust temperature, it was designed with 554 degrees centigrade. At base load, it comes to 565 degrees centigrade with 100% gas. And at part load operation also, it at 565 degrees centigrade only. At the steam pressure, it was designed for 80 kg, but due to 100% gas, at the steam pressure was 66 kg, and at part load it was 61 kg. Steam flow, it was designed for 176 ton per hour, and now at the gas load it is 170 and 125. The main thing is the stack temperature. It was designed for 106 degree, but with the gas it is operating at 130 degree and at full load and 125 degree at the part load. Now the stack temperature is if it remains high, it is a pure loss because it is designed for 106 degree. But if we are maintaining at 130 degree, 120 to 15 to 20 degree temperature gas, it is only going to the atmosphere. It is a pure loss. And all the pinch point of the boiler was designed for 8 to 10 degree, but it was actually coming 16.5 degree. What is the pinch point and approach point, that I think all you might be knowing. So I cannot go into the deep for that pinch point and approach point, but I can just say that the pinch point, it was designed for 8 to 10 degree, and actually condition it was coming from 16.5 to 12 degree, and the major loss was of the stack temperature. So you can see from the above data that is the potential of reduction in stack temperature of 20 to 25 degree at base load and 15 to 20 degree on part load condition. Okay, so what can we do? We have studied all the parameters. We have consulted so many agencies what to do, what can be the modification we can be doing this boiler. So ultimately then we have decided by increasing the heating surface of the HRSG, that was the best option. So this was the procedure we have followed for modification. So we have engaged L&T Thermex for validating expected gain or payback analysis for various combinations. The preparation of drawing, bill of material, welding procedure for IBR approval, everything was prepared. Bill of material, because it is very difficult to increase the heating surface of the boiler when it is already designed, it is commissioned and erected. After preparing, after designing and fabrication of any boiler, if you want to increase the heating surface, this is not a joke, it is a very difficult procedure. We have engaged so many parties. We have they can use their expertise, and we have finally we have prepared the drawing and bill of material and what will be the welding procedure. It will to be approved by IBR also. We have submitted an application for with supporting document to the Chief Inspector of Boiler. We have taken the permission because it is a registered boiler. This boiler was registered for this much heating surface, this was this much pressure. Now we are increasing the heating surface, hence we are changing the parameter of that registered boiler. So all the new parameters are to be communicated to the IBR authority. We have done that all the procedure. Then comes the procurement of new module. We have to give the design, fabrication design to the another companies who can fabricate or the same module for us. Expansion, then expansion bellows, then interconnecting links, vent and drain pipings, different types of valves. Then there will be a change in the structure also, the structure steel and all we have to calculate, we have to take on the drawing of it, and we have to prepare the bill of material. Now all these parts are of IBRF quality, so it is to be inspected by the chief inspector. So we have, before the final, means going into the fabrication, the ground inspection of all the pressure parts by boiler inspector as per approved drawing, it was carried out. Then we have engaged IBR approved contractor, because we cannot engage our regular fabricator or erector for doing this type of jobs. And we have engaged IBR approved contractor for erection and interconnection of modules with all the necessary links and supports. And DP-8, radiography, stress relieving, all for this is all the procedures as per IBR code. These are followed. Then after we have received, when we have received the module, it was, we cannot feed the module directly into the boiler. It is to be flushed, then alkali boil out. We have to precipitate that boiler, and for that is one procedure that is known as alkali boiler. Then hydro test and final inspection of boiler inspector was carried out after completion of work before startup. Then at the startup and a review of actual result was carried out. You can say some of the drawing. You can see this is the circuit of the boiler. This is the flue gas will enter from here. This is HP superheater area. Superheater 1, superheater 2. Then this comes the HP circuit. That is HP operator. These are the HP drum, top drum. This is the HP mud drum. And these are the connecting pipings. This is the downcomer. Now this is the HP economizer. Now from HP circuit, then it comes to the LP circuit. This is the LP circuit. LP operator tubes. This is the LP downcomer. Then it comes the LP economizer 1. Then this is the final CPH, that is condenser preheater, and then comes the stack. Now we have studied the drawings and everything feasibility. How to increase the heating surface. So there was only one possibility, that we can increase the heating surface by providing one HP economizer module. So then we have studied the space, that the space available in the boiler that we can insert the economizer module. So finally this was the position where we can insert the HP economizer module. My cursor is available. I mean, you can see the cursor. Okay, then this was the final drawing. We have cut the interconnected links from here, and we have erected one economizer module. This is the final drawing of that module. So this type of general arrangement was done.
Your cursor is available, sir, so that we can identify the area you can mark.
Okay. Now these are the physical parameters of HP economizer module. The module of economizer was carbon steel SA210 grade A. Tube size is 51 mm OD into 4 mm thick. The total weight of the module was of 15 ton for half module. If you consider the full module, it was 30 ton. And the height of the module is 15 meter. So to consider when to erect this type of module of very high, having very high and very heavy module. So all the necessary arrangements were done. In the first slide, I have seen that drawing also. This is the arrangement, you can see. This is the crane we have contacted, and this is the module. This is the portion where we have cut the HRSG duct. In this circuit, you can see this is the portion. This is the cut portion, where we have cut this duct and inserted this module. This is the frame. Before erecting, the module was connected with this frame, and after that, this whole the module was inserted inside this duct. Okay. So after increasing the heating area, the expected results were the increase in HP steam flow. It was 1.9 ton per hour was the increase in the flow, the steam flow has increased. The decrease in approach temperature, earlier it was 16, now it has decreased by 5 points. Decrease in LP steam flow, 1.7, because we have increased the heating surface. So the steam flue gas temperature in the LP section will be low. The steam flow of the LP section has reduced. Decrease in approach point in LP circuit, 0.5. An increase in STG output, that is steam turbine output, is increased by 0.3 megawatt. And the reduction in combined cycle heat rate, that was boiled, 0.05%. Okay, so this is my presentation. There are so many other points also, but if I have not gone all the details into the, I have not prepared the details. So I think it will be enough. This is the Mr. Dr. DR sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Can I close that presentation?
Yes, I was present throughout your presentation.
Okay. And any question from the participant?
Participants, if you have any question, you can ask. Sir is present right now. He is very busy with plant activities. So please raise your question if you have any.
Okay.
Sir, while
After that also, if anybody has having any question.
Yes, sir. Myself, a question. While comparing the
yes.
performance of the different kinds of fan, especially, so what is the criteria to get select whether post draft fan or induced draft fan for the small airflow conveying?
Sir, this is the power plant already designed and by consultant, and they have be looking to our requirement of power plant and the surrounding area and space requirement, and another means atmospheric conditions, that is humidity and cooling water temperature available. They have provided the fan induced draft cooling tower fan. In comparison to the natural draft, the induced draft fan is having, means it is compact. If we select a natural draft fan, it will require very large area. So there is always a space constraint, and so it is the cooling tower which we have provided in our cooling our plant, that is gas-based combined cycle power plant. It is the induced draft cooling tower fan.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Despite having very busy schedule, you have spared valuable time for this session. In future, we will take your advantage, considering you will have more and more energy conservation practices, and whatever new things you have implemented, that we will try to know from you. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure, okay. Thank you very much.